Guys, what's going on? I'm John Anthony, the $1 million man, and you have found Driving to the Bank, where all your money stays and plays with me. Guys, coming off an amazing week 7 for us here at Driving to the Bank, 12-2 for a second straight week. We hit 3 out of our 5 on the Underdog Parlays. Yeah, we didn't get 5 out of 5, but 3 out of 5, with one coming down with a field goal, and obviously the Bucs falling short in their comeback on Monday night to an amazing Ravens team right now, and a Lamar Jackson who cannot be stopped. But with that being said, guys, 24-4 over the past 2 weeks, coming into the week before the mid part of the season. We are cooking right now. Cooking. The perfect week is coming, and another underdog parlay is going to hit. I can promise you that. We'll get a little bit to that in a little bit. Let's talk about week 7. Week 7 was amazing. A lot of great play, a lot of great things happening. Only 2 L's we took were the San Francisco 49ers. Couldn't get out of their own way in a rematch of the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Patrick Mahomes that was just unstoppable in the second half. And obviously the Bucs, who came up short in a comeback on Monday night. But when Lamar's going off for 5 touchdowns and looking unstoppable, almost got to be your first half of the year MVP candidate. It's hard to win those kind of games. But again, 12-2, awesome stuff. Those are also the 2 games we lost Houston, and we lost the Bucs in our underdog parlay, but hit the other 3. So with all that being said, let's get a couple things out of the way programming wise. Next week, we're going to be doing a mid-year review of the NFL season so far. Have a couple of friends joining me. I'm going to talk a little bit more about on X later on today and a little bit Friday morning. Going to have some great guests talking about our MVP predictions, offensive, defensive player of the year, our rookie of the year, our comeback player of the year, and kind of where we see who going where and what conference heading into the Super Bowl, and ultimately just predicting who we see winning the Super Bowl at the midway point of this year. So that's at the end of the year. We got a whole other half of the season. Let's talk about last week, week 7. I want to talk about the 3 stars of last week, in my opinion, who's shown, and it wasn't exactly blowing doors, but people who offensively made the difference in their game for their team to get the win. The third one is Saquon Barkley. Gotta be. I mean, it was only 126 yards and a touchdown, but guys, 10.1 yards a carry. 10 yards a carry is amazing. I don't care when you do it. Barkley looked amazing. Baker Mayfield, I think this is the 3rd week I've had him in the top 3. I'm a big Baker guy. I believe when it comes to Dallas, but I'm a big believer in Baker Mayfield. And if I sound a little choked up, I apologize. Getting over a touch of the cold, so bear with me. But Baker Mayfield, 370 yards last week, 3 touchdowns. Did have 2 interceptions. So that's 5 in 2 weeks. So it's a little bit. Look at it, you go, it's a little much. But he's still rocking. I think last week he had a 97.1 quarterback rating, and overall for the year he's still over 101. He's a 101, I should say, quarterback rating for the year. So, Baker's still getting it done, even in losses. Almost led him all the way back to get a W against the Baltimore Ravens. And of course, speaking of that game, the number 1 star last week has to be Lamar Jackson. 17 of 22, 5 touchdowns, 153 yards. 153.0 of a passer rating, and just amazing stuff from this guy. Every week, in and out, looking amazing, looking great. And I'm sure next week we talk about who we see as the MVPs thus far on the first half of the 2024-2025 NFL season. I'm sure myself and a couple of people might just say Lamar Jackson. Before we get to week 8 and week 9, we got to get through. Before we get through week 9, we got to get through week 8, and that's this upcoming week, starting tonight with Vikings and Rams. Guys, right now, the Minnesota Vikings are favored by 3 points in their Thursday night matchup on Prime. And this is such a wild game because literally one team is trying to trade for the other team's quarterback. It's wild stuff going on over in Los Angeles. But yeah, so that's going to be a great game. I have the Vikings winning here, 5-1. They're going to run the hot hand. Obviously, they were going to Rams territory, but I think the Vikings get it done. I told you, I betted against them a couple times early in the year. I'm done doing it. I'm over it. You got me convinced. Minnesota wins this game walking away. And like I let everyone know, all these picks that I give from driving to the bank is all money line. So I give you the spread in case that's how you like do over-unders, things like that. Our parlays and all our picks are done money line straight up, just wins and losses. Second game is going to be Cowboys taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Right now, the Niners are favored by 4 points out the gate. This has got to be helped a little bit with the fact that they're being at home after taking a pretty bad L against the Kansas City Chiefs last week. This is a big game, I think, for both quarterbacks. I think Prescott needs this game. I think Purdy needs this game a lot. You lose this game, you go down to 3-5, go into your bye. You get a lot of the cast back. And obviously, the NFC West isn't the strongest of divisions out there. But the Seahawks are looking to win. They're looking good. Let's say the Rams pull off the trick and they get a win, or the Cards get hot. It's a tough, tough division in the West if one of those teams get hot. It's going to come down to 1 or 2 games, and definitely probably going to come down to divisional records as well in the West. So the Niners really need this game. They really need this game to get to 500, go into the bye, get the guys healthy, get your Debo back, get your CMC back, get right, and hopefully, just kill the second half of the season, go to a divisional crown, get into the playoffs, and kind of see where it goes from there. So I have the Niners winning this outright against the Cowboys. Then we have the New York Jets taking on the New England Patriots. Right now, the Jets are 7-point favorites. This is tough. I see how the Jets have been playing. You see the teams that are beating them. And you look at the Patriots, and after a week getting called soft by their head coach, Gerard Mayo, you think the team is going to come out and they're going to, at any cost, do whatever they can do to get this dub, to get the win for the team, start building morale in that locker room. You have a lot of new people in that New England team, a lot of new people in that locker room, coaches-wise, player-wise. I just think they're not gelling the way, obviously, we had Tom Brady, the back in the day, Super Bowl perennial team every single year when he came to the New England Patriots. But this times are different. It's been a long time. He's no longer in the field. He's in the booth above the field calling the games. But with Devontae Adams there, it's hard, very, very hard. And the Pats are not able to stop the run at all. I think their past 5 games are giving over at least 85 yards a game. They're giving up just on the ground alone in the run game. So I got to take the New York Jets here. They are, like I said, they are favored by 7 points. But I take them to win outright against the Pats. Then we have the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati's favored by 2.5. This was a tough game for me. The Bengals, you're just waiting to see them break out. Waiting for the breakout. When's it going to happen? And it just isn't happening. And when it does, it's almost like it's a fluke, and they go back to losing, dropping games. With that being said, the Eagles have a lot to prove as well. They're trying to get back to what they were 2-3 years ago, being Super Bowl favorites out the gate. Week 1, which this year they are not, having a very, very difficult time the first half of the season, kind of finding their footing and getting where they need to be offensive and defensively. But here I'm going to go against it. I'm going to say the Philadelphia Eagles get this win. I think the Bengals do what they've done. They're there. They're present in the games. They're doing what they have to do, but they're just not going to be able to close the deal. I think the Philadelphia Eagles get it done and get this win over the Cincinnati Bengals. Then we come to the Green Bay Packers taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Right now, Green Bay is favored by 4. I have to agree with that. The Jags are playing great. The Packers are playing good, but the Packers have enough power on offense with Love at the helm and also defensively as well. And shout out to the Packers last week for the sick, sleek-looking alternates, the all-whites in Green Bay. Woo! Sick, baby. It was fire. Love it. Want to see more of that on TV. But I got to go with the Green Bay Packers here. I got to go with the spread. I got to agree with it. Green Bay Packers here go over the Jaguars. I think it's going to be close, which I can see, obviously, the 4-point spread. I think it's going to be close, but the Green Bay Packers I got going over here. Then we come down to the Titans taking on the Lions. Lions right now are favored by 11 points. That's the biggest spread of the week right now on week 8. And rightfully so, the Lions are firing on all cylinders. I mean, this is a tough team. Even when you lose to the Lions, even when you lose to them, you're beat up. This team is so physical. And that starts at the top with head coach Dan Campbell, who came in there and let these guys know we're going to be physical. Win or lose, these teams are going to feel us, know we are here, know who they're playing. And I love that about this Detroit team. I saw a couple buddies of mine at work. Like, this team for all the years, me growing up, I'm going to be 40 next week. growing up, the Lions were always the laughing stock. It wasn't a matter of how many games they were going to win, it's how many they're going to lose. And it was always like at least double digits, 13, 14. Then they pull off the 0-16 trick, which is wild. Can't believe I saw that in my lifetime. But the Lions are back with a vengeance, and Dan Campbell has this team running on all cylinders. And I got their pick, and they got the Titans number this week, going over with a dub there against the Titans. Then we come up to the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Right now, Atlanta is favored 2.5 points. 2.5 points. Now, for those of you that know, this is a matchup a couple weeks ago where Atlanta drove down, got the dub, a touchdown in overtime against the Buccaneers. And the Buccaneers had it in the bag, man. They really did. They let it slip away. I do not think that happens twice. And now we're even playing in Tampa Bay this time. So Tampa's got a little more to play for and a little more to play with the crowd behind them. I think the Bucs get it done this time, and they get that win over the Dirty Bird Atlanta Falcons. All right. And then we have the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Miami Dolphins. Right now, the Miami Dolphins are favored 3.5 points, which is wild that they're favored right now. I mean, I know it's the Arizona Cardinals, but against this team, it's tough. It's tough. Arizona can get it done. Kyler Murray, when he needs to, turns it on offensively, gets it done with his legs. And against a defense like the Dolphins have right now, I think he's going to do a lot of running. And also with a lot of running comes a lot of scoring for Arizona when he starts using his legs and getting down in the red zone and even running into the end zone himself, calling his own number, running into the end zone, throwing up the one. So Miami is favored on the spread, 3.5. I'm going to give it to Arizona here, straight up. I think they get the win here. It's going to be dirty. It's going to be gritty. It's not going to be a high-scoring game, I don't think. But when all the dust settles, Arizona is going to grab the dub here. And then we have the Ravens taking on the Browns. Baltimore's favored by 8.5. What more? There's nothing more I really can say about this game. The Browns are bombed out, depleted. Just put the fries in the bag, man. This year is over for Cleveland. And I'm sorry to say that. Love Cleveland. The great team. The fan base is amazing. They stand by it no matter what happens. But guys, this year is over, man. It's a wash. You're on the spin cycle, man. It's a wrap. Baltimore's going to go in there. It's not going to be a matter of if they score. It's going to be how much they score. And I think you're going to see Lamar having another amazing offensive game to just compile on top of what I was saying, him having right now what looks to be an MVP season. Then we have the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Houston Texans. Houston's right now favored by 5. This is probably the tough one for me. This was tough. Colts, Jonathan Taylor is questionable. Richardson is close to coming back. I think he actually is playing. JT not playing or playing kind of makes the difference here against the Texans. The Texans have been doing great. The past 2-3 weeks have had to come from behind and haven't looked as solid as they did the first 2-3 weeks out the gate. But I'm going to go with Houston. I got to take them. A lot of questions over on the Indianapolis sideline. I got to go. We're playing with money here. It's not who we like. It's who we know is going to win for money. And now, this week, it's going to be the Houston Texans taking the W. New Orleans Saints taking on the Chargers. Right now, the Chargers are favored by 7. Rattler has now been named the quarterback for this game. With Rattler under center, if this was Derek Carr, I might just sit here and tell you Derek Carr comes back off the bench, gets the dub, gets the Saints back on their winning ways. But with Rattler starting, I'm sorry, from what I saw from this man 2 weeks ago, it just does not look like zoned in, really can lead an offense, really knows what's going on in the field when he needs it to. So unfortunately, yeah, the Chargers get this one. I don't know if it goes all the way up to 7. I think the Saints defense kind of holds them in check a little bit. But with that being said, I think, like I said, Chargers get this W. Buffalo Bills taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Buffalo right now is favored by 3. Rightfully so. The Seahawks have been great. They're winning when they need to, winning against the teams they need to beat. But the Bills look awesome right now, piling up on offense, looking good. Defense is coming around. The Bills, I think, are back on that trajectory, looking to take down the AFC East. There's a lot of competition going on right now in that division. But I think the Buffalo Bills come out, they score early, they score often, they get this win against the Seahawks. Chicago Bears taking on the Commanders. Chicago's favored by 3. I'm still not a Caleb Williams fan. Put it on record. Get me in the comments. Go ahead. Email me. Go ahead. It's fine. I'm still not convinced The teams that Caleb Williams is beating are teams that should be beaten by Caleb Williams. I want to see him win when it counts. I want to see him win when it matters and when the game is on the line. The games he's winning by 2-3 touchdowns. By the end of the game, he's fine. They're ready to go. The defense is taking care of business, which is the way it should be. But they start giving this guy flowers and to say like he's just turning it around and becoming just the absolute greatest number one pick. Did a lot of things as number one pick so far this season. The number one pick has done, which is great. But I think he's going to come back down to earth against the Commanders team that took Baltimore to its limit within a possession, has taken teams that they've lost to the limit, and is going to be looking to make an example against the Chicago Bears. I got the Commanders winning this, getting this dub at home in Washington against the Bears. Then we got the Carolina Panthers taking on the Denver Broncos. Denver has the second highest spread of the week. Denver is up a 10-point spread. They're favored. And again, like I've told you guys all year, I believe, baby. This man, he's going to figure it out. And every week you watch, every week he gets better and better. He's figuring out more with his legs, figuring out some more with his arm, getting his reads a little better, seeing the defense a little better. By the end of the year, he's going to be playing great. Hopefully they're playing for an awesome, awesome playoff spot to see what he can do in the playoffs. So with that, sorry, Panthers. You can start the number one pick all you want from last year, but unfortunately, not this week, baby. Bo leave. Bo gets it done. Broncos win. Then we got the Sunday night game. We got the Chiefs taking on the Raiders. Right now, Kansas City is a 10-point line. It was 9.5 when I looked at it after doing this. I'll call it 10, so it's a tie for the highest spread of the week. But what else can I say? The Raiders, again, good team against the Chiefs. Mahomes is going to get it done. Mahomes looks very, very beatable this year. Even in a defeat, in a win, I should say, in defeating the Niners, the numbers were not great. We're not blowing you out of the water. Like, wow, he's getting it done. But the defense is getting it done. And when the offense does get it done, they're getting it done the right way. So kudos to Mahomes. Even when he's not doing great, the team's doing great. And that is the true showing of a champion. So the Chiefs go over here. And then we come to Monday night, New York Giants versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers with an amazing win against the Jets last week. Pittsburgh is a 5.5-point favorites. And I got to agree with Vegas. Pittsburgh is looking good. Again, I told you, I'd say it week after week after week. I wish I could pick the Giants in a game. And when they play the Panthers, that might be the Panthers' first game they get. Second game they win. Might be a dub for them. But in this one, it's got to be Pittsburgh. It's got to be the Steelers. Whether it's Russ we trust, or you're going to be throwing Fields out there. Either way, they're getting that W on Monday night. So those are the picks. That's how we see it going down here, driving to the bank. Now, for the best part of the week is our Underdog Parlay. For $25. $25. I know it's tough to afford, but you can't afford to not make this bet. These 5 teams hit. 3 weeks ago, we hit $2,500. Last week, we hit 3 out of the 5. Does it take a little luck? Yes, but also takes a little precision, knowing the numbers, knowing the teams, knowing the stats, knowing the players, knowing the ins and outs of the matchups, and being able to accurately predict who's going to get the upsets here is the key to all of this. But also, at the end of the day, it does take a little luck as well. So right now, the upsets I have: the Philadelphia Eagles, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Arizona Cardinals, the Washington Commanders, and the Indianapolis Colts. Those 5 teams win their games where they're underdogs, and the underdogs are always under 7 points or under. We don't pick like we're not picking picking the Titans to take down the Lions. If we hit that, it would probably be $3,000-$4,000 because of the odds. For $25 this week on those 5 teams, it's $1,736.35 popping up into your account Monday morning. So again, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Arizona Cardinals, Washington Commanders, Indianapolis Colts. Those are my 5 teams in the Underdog Parlay for Week 8 to upset, have the best chance of winning their games, even though they're underdogs, and almost $1,800 to put back into your account, cover your rent, cover the electricity. Go on a bender. I don't care. Take the wife out. Go buy some new stuff. Go buy a new pair of shoes. Go buy whatever the hell it is you want to do. Or be like me, go buy a new wrestling belt. Doesn't matter. But we're picking good. Again, guys, 24-4 in the past 2 weeks, getting hot. The first couple weeks are always tough to read. Teams coming and going, injuries early. Teams start gelling. You start to see who the winners are and who the winners are and who the pretenders are as well. So with that being said, guys, like I said, please be sure to look out onto X in the next couple days. We're going to talk about our midweek get together next week, talking about MVPs, offensive, defensive player of the years, and Super Bowl champions as well. So with that being said, guys, I'm John Anthony, the $1 Million Man, where all your money stays and plays with me. This is Driving to the Bank, a sports coin production. Good luck and happy betting.